Our next presentation is by Professor Fabrice Mugonja from Lake Kivu Advisory Group. So we have a pre-recorded one, but Fabrice, I know you prefer to give it as a live presentation. So could you please proceed?
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity of sharing our ideas for this 2022 year, coming year. We have, as a Lake Kivu Advisory Group, two objectives. The first is to organize a summer school. The summer school will help us harmonizing the sampling and analytical methods for general parameters in limnology, being biotic or abiotic, which in our labs. Yeah, because we have identified it. So we intend to organize a 2-week field course in which we could sample together, take samples to laboratory, analyze together, and read the results together. The expected outcomes then will be to get students, technicians, and junior scientists be trained and our protocols harmonized so our results can be comparable. The resources needed, obviously, are funds and commitment of host institutions around the lake to collaborate. The second objective is to organize a survey on the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats in our local institutions interested by Lake Kivu. We want to assess how strong we are or how weak we are, what are the opportunities and difficulties in organizing education and research about freshwater science in our institutions. The approach then will be to organize an assessment of the technical capacity of our institutions, member of Lake Kivu Advisory Group, to understand their strengths and to see if there are things about which we can complement. Expected outcomes are that this SWOT analysis is made for each institution member in terms of research and education in freshwater science. The required resources, of course, are still the same: funding for mobility and living costs for surveyors in different institutions. Yeah, we think that this is a space, Lake Kivu Advisory Group is a space for collaboration, being regional or international. About research, it is possible to collaborate on resource dynamic assessment, fisheries, methane, aquaculture in Lake Kivu, or about environmental issues, climate change, pollution, invasive species and alien species introduction, and their effects on the food web. Socioeconomics and stakeholders, socioeconomies of stakeholders and management sustainability practices of fisheries. Education, it is possible to collaborate in training human resources which are lacking in this area of science, undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate levels. We can also organize together short courses and vocational training about the ecology and the resources of the lake. Technical capacity building of stakeholders is needed, being for research institutions, universities, or NGOs, or even governmental agencies which are somehow not able to monitor or to manage adequately the lake. We can also cooperate about development projects oriented to improve livelihoods of local communities. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Fabrice, for your presentation on the critical objectives for the summer school and the others. I would invite one comment or two.
There's an interesting question by Yepe on what monitoring is taking place limnologically and for the fish resources. Excuse me. Maybe that can be addressed.
Yeah, Fabrice, we have a question there that with regards to Lake Kivu, I was under the impression that there is an ongoing monitoring program on both limnology and offshore fish resource hydroacoustic in place due to high interest from methane extraction. Fabrice, could you share that? I know Eric is also in charge of the Lake Kivu monitoring program, so he could complement on your inputs. But Fabrice, please.
Yes, thank you very much. It's true. There is this Lake Kivu monitoring program, which is going on at the side or at the Rwandan side. The most critical problem we had up to now is to be able to share at both sides, Congo and Rwanda, because the Lake Kivu monitoring program, as it is working for the moment, it's a property of the Rwandan government. Being a transboundary resource, the lake should be monitored both in Rwanda and Congo. And the Congolese side is not yet ready to do this. Of course, institutions in Congo have been called to participate in doing some baseline studies or to support the Lake Kivu monitoring program, but it's not a bilateral program as it should be, as it was supposed to be. That's what we can say for at this side. I can be completed by my colleague Eric.
Thanks, Fabrice. Just trying to look at the list there, and I can't see Eric. Yepe, I believe that Yepe, I believe that some bit of that has been answered in terms of the existing Lake Kivu monitoring program and the parameters that they are working to monitor.
Yes, thank you very much. It confirmed my impression. It's just a pity if there's not a collaboration across the lake. But I mean, this is exactly one of the things that AK is trying to facilitate better collaboration. But there is ongoing monitoring, and I think it is quite well organized and quite regularly. So it's one of the lakes where active monitoring is ongoing, which at least is one step. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Yepe. Thanks, Fabrice.